the rankings on 3 have been updated. And, we have our industry ranking, which is all the rankings combined into one. But there's an on 3 component to our rankings as well, which carries a big piece in that industry ranking. And we did our going into the season update. And there are definitely some notable bumps for Nebraska in the industry or in the on 3 rankings. I think most notably the running back recruit Kewan Lacey now was a 3-star. Now he's in the top 300 at 298, 25th best running back in the country. Now a 4-star running back, Kewan Lacey, Steve Sipple out of Lancaster, Texas.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I've watched this film a couple times. He's an interesting player to me because he looks like some of the Nebraska running backs of the past. And he's very downhill oriented. He runs out of the shotgun for his team. So you have to look kind of closely to see that downhill part of him, but it's there. It's very intriguing to me what he's going to look like running behind a fullback. He's a tough runner is what he is. They say he's got big time speed. I don't know. It doesn't necessarily show up on film all the time, but his toughness shows up all the time.
On 3, though, as you can see, the only one of the 4 services that currently has him as a 4-star. Rivals has him as a high 3, right on the border of being a 4. But the positional rankings really jump out. We have him at 25 and on 3. The next closest is ESPN at 42. So Charles Power, the rankings team, really high on what they've seen from Kewan Lacey. Another bump to the 4-star club, Carlon Jones, the defensive lineman out of Bay City, Texas, south of Houston, teammates in high school with current Nebraska 2023 wide receiver Bryce Turner. He goes from number 473 to now number 258, and he's now a 4-star. So Carlon Jones, a 4-star on 3. Rivals has him as a high 3. 24/7 still has him more as a middle 3-star guy, but look at that. 25th now defensive lineman in the country. Not yet an industry rated 4-star, nor is Kewan Lacey, because the other services still have him as 3s, but major jump. And this is a really good sign for the evaluation of the staff and how they evaluate that they saw this before the ranking was even on this guy.
I think that's what Matt Rule and the staff have hung their hat on for a long time, and how much pride they take in their ability to identify under the radar talent. And so you get these kids that no one's even heard of before. Sometimes you have to make profiles for them when you offer them, but then they quickly vault into the national discussion. And the guys you mentioned are prime examples of that, or guys that were fringe prospects from a national, recruiting standpoint. But Nebraska saw past that. They saw how not only they would fit in their scheme, but what they could develop into long term. And so maybe this is changing the narrative of when you commit to Nebraska, you drop in the rankings, because you got guys that are coming out of nowhere into the national spotlight after becoming Huskers.
This has to be a Terrence Knighton guy, right?
Oh, yeah, Houston area, D-line. Knighton was big. I mean, because a lot of teams wanted Carlon Jones. He was at Oklahoma State for a visit, Cal. So it wasn't like Nebraska just took him like a camp guy that they got with one offer. I mean, he had a lot of.
This is a good poll, and now it'd be nice to see that continue. This is where you get your good D linemen in the South. I mean, this is a little more west. It's the Southeast is where the best defensive linemen are. But this is a good sign. You got to go get them too. I mean, hey, people always ask me, what's it got to happen for Nebraska to get back to where it's at? I always say, and this is a little bit micro, but it's got to start up front on both sides. And that's where they've been a little deficient.
Mario Buford goes in our rankings. He went from number 374 to now in the top 300 on 3. He's at 204. So Mario Buford out of DeSoto, Texas,
there he is.
Brother of Marquise Buford, squarely now in the on 3 top 300, which that's a pretty big jump for him. Carter Nelson, and this is where you get critical rankings if you're a fan. Carter Nelson goes from number 59 to number 77, and it's going to happen. I mean, that's all. I mean, Dylan Raiola fell again to now the number 2 ranked quarterback in the country, and the number 11th ranked player in the top 100. I mean, it's very, very hard to just keep moving up in rankings, and when other people do move up, guess what, guys? Somebody has to move down, and I think for Carter Nelson, I don't want to say this hurt him, but he didn't have a great spring because he was hurt. When I say great spring, I mean track.
Mhm.
If he would have just freakishly put out huge marks on the track all spring, maybe that holds his spot there. But he had an okay spring. But didn't have anywhere near his PRs because of the ankle injury.
Some people, and I actually heard a local commentator talk about this the other day. How does Dylan Raiola drop without playing?
Other players rise.
Okay. And is this camp stuff and 7-on-7?
Yeah, I mean, evaluations and other things happen. So
Did these happen before or after the Elite 11?
After.
Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. Like camps figure into this a little bit.
And Grant Bricks took a huge jump, by the way. Alabama offered Grant this summer. He goes from number 75 to number 52. So if Grant Bricks in the top 300, if Grant Bricks, the Iowa lineman from Logan Magnolia, commits to Nebraska, he would be the highest ranked guy in the recruiting class.
Oh boy,
Man.
oh boy.
So that's a big one.
At the number one position of need. Yeah.
Offensive
highlight
line,
that
big tackle. I mean, they have 3 pretty good interior guys in
Need
this
tackles.
class, but they need the big.
Priority number 1, 2, and 3 right there.
I'd say so.
Now there's a lot of question about Daniel Kalen in the rankings, and Husker fans aren't going to like what I have to share, but it's my understanding his ranking with On3 is where it's at. So he's at 41 in the quarterback rankings right now going into the season. 24/7 has moved him up to 15. ESPN has him at 24. Rivals has him at 30. He's an industry 4-star, but On3 still has him as an 3-star quarterback. And I exchanged messages with Charles Power just to get the facts on that. And he said,
What do you say?
Because we're gonna wait to look at his senior film. We want to see his senior film and what he does before we make any more movement on him.
Well, you know what? That's
Bodes
good
well
on
for
Charles.
him.
That's good on Charles Power to give you an answer.
Yeah, and he's been doing this a long time. Like he understands. Like everyone gets mad when their guy drops, but they're happy when your guy. I mean, it comes with rankings of any kind. I mean, simply you voted in polls for years, right?
Yeah. It's hard to do.
It's hard.
Yeah. You piss people off.
I'm voting this year in the preseason Big Ten poll, and I'm going to be a voter for the All Big Ten teams. And let me tell you, the All Big Ten voting is tough.
Well, linemen.
That's
Yeah.
where Pro Football
It's
Focus.
folly when media vote on linemen. That's what
Our
it is.
access to Pro Football Focus really helps.
Yeah.
with
That
like,
helps.
looking at the lineman numbers that you just
Yeah.
don't get access to.
Yeah. I always get a kick out when I was voting for that.
Center.
I'm voting for the Michigan left guard. I don't know what I wouldn't even know him if he walked in a room.
Well, and not just you got to go to like a third team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Exactly.
it's-
Folly. It's
Give me your
folly.
punter breakdowns.
the All Big Ten voting balloting is tough.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot. Basketball for Robin, he's been a basketball. It's a lot easier for that.
Way easier,
Just
right?
less guys.
Yeah.
I mean, the first team is usually self-explanatory, and then like you're figuring out who makes out the end. Like basically, you do five players for 3 teams. So it's 15 guys total. So in no particular order, and then your player of the year. So it's significantly easier than football.
And I
Dig
told-
into that film, Sean, of those linemen in November.
Mhm.
Get into that film.
Look at his
But no,
gimmick.
you're voting the Cleveland. The only other voter in this state is Sharp, Greg Sharp. It's just you and Greg Sharp. The vote on the Cleveland.com poll. So it's pretty prestigious. God bless you.
The rise continues.
Yes, the rise is.
Just a kid from South O, boys. 38th and X Street.
Do a good job on that.
All right.
Get it in on time.